What's going on, Gin Pros family? Welcome to the live stream. It is Wednesday, April 21st. Hope you guys had a good 420. If you guys celebrate that, I'm not a participant in that, but Tony, I don't know. Are you a participant in 420?
No, man, I worked and that was really about it. I think a few of my coworkers may have been participating, during the workday. But listen, who am I to judge? Listen, go do what you got to do. Go rip a couple dubs in the back if you want to. But yeah, if you guys celebrated 420, listen, that's like your Christmas. That's like your Christmas day.
That's true. Yesterday was your Christmas if you're a stoner type. So let's get right into it. Let's talk about something that's very pertinent to the situation right now. Let's talk about the International Federation of Beard Eye Grand Tournament video. So the video is out. If you haven't peeped it, head over to our YouTube channel. I'll put our link tree down below. Click that link tree, or you can't click it, but type it into your browser and navigate to the YouTube tab. And it's the featured video on our YouTube channel right now. So get involved, check it out. We already have a significant amount of views on it. It's been gaining a lot of traction. There's been multiple people that have seen it, big names in the beard dye community that have watched it and commented, showed their support, and gave us feedback on it. People are very impressed with it. I think it turned out great. 8 hours of consistent editing on my part, and I was proud with how it turned out. So, Tone, what are your takeaways from the video? Just the whole.
I mean, listen, the videos, I mean, electric. Okay, I feel like we've been using the word electric a lot lately, but I mean that's the only way to explain it. The energy from all the teams. I mean, there were people that weren't even participating in it in the tournament that were there. That created a lot of good content. Obviously, the interviews. I mean, I'm a professional. I should be on national news doing interviews. Those were great. But I do need to say this: hats off to Bink, the man behind the computer, the man behind the the editing to make it look as good as it did. Now, yes, there's a lot of good content, but to be able to visualize all that stuff and put it together was special, and he did a fantastic job on it. Again, we've had some of the biggest beard dye accounts watch the video, and I think some of them were a little upset that we're already gaining so much traction, putting these kind of tournaments on. But that's fine. I mean, if you want to be jealous about us, that's okay. Everybody else is. But overall, I thought the video was an absolute slam dunk. We already have hundreds of views on it, and I see that to continue to grow. Absolutely.
So yeah, Tony, I appreciate that. It did take a lot of work, but it was worth every second that I put into it. And I was impressed with how it turned out. Like I said, I guess let's talk about that. We've had some big names watch the beard dye video, and there's been multiple different takes from it from different people. So I'll just put this out there. We early on, this is like the early stages of the International Federation. We reached out to a very well-known group, Dye is Life. I don't know if you might have heard of it. They're pretty popular on TikTok and Instagram. And we reached out to them. We're like, listen, we want to do a tournament. We really want to put something on and make it big, do something in East Lansing, and make it something that's revolutionary. And we kind of reached out to them. We're like, we're really trying to revolutionize and put public the entire sport of beard dye and make it in the forefront as far as in college campuses and everywhere. So they declined the offer. That like, we really got to have you guys prove yourselves to us, and you got to prove yourself and we got to see that you're serious about doing something like this. And we're like, listen, we should have been enough by just telling you that we're serious about it, that we want to do it. And so what do we do in response to that? We go ahead, create the federation without them, modify the rules to, accompany certain scenarios and situations that are not listed in their rule sheet. I will admit our rules are based off of theirs, but a lot of those rules are modified in a way to accompany different scenarios and different circumstances that happen throughout a beard dye match. And I think that they're way more tailored and more apt to handle a vast array of different beard dye, matchups, no matter the skill level, really. And it can really handle anything. And so I'm really proud of those rules. If you haven't checked out the rules, head over to our website and go to the International Federation of Beard Dye tab. And the updated rules sheet is on there. Those rules actually changed. There were some rules added following the International Federation of Beer Die Grand Tournament that happened this past Saturday, due to some unique circumstances that took place. I'll talk about that briefly. No rebuttals going forward. If you get the roll initially, you get the higher roll before the game starts to get the first roll or the first toss, then you deserve that potential extra throw. And that requires the defense to play more defense and secure that table. Can't catch those die that are coming off the table. Some other rules, let's see. So interference. The die cannot be altered in any way. This was actually a big issue in the final game, and we didn't have any rulings on it. There was nothing previously in the rules to make a ruling on it. So I was reluctant to make a call on the spot there, just because the stakes were so high, and we more or less let it go. But that's not going to be the case now. So if you're an offensive player tossing a die, you cannot alter the path of the die until it either hits your side of the table. Oh, now Siri's going crazy on my watch. You can't alter the die at all until it hits the table on your side or the ground. So if you throw a terrible throw and it's off the table, you can't alter that path of the die until it makes contact with something other than yourself. So there's rules amongst others that are in there that have been updated and that have been, made the way they are for certain tournaments going forward and certain events. And I think those will be the rule of thumb going forward, but I'm really happy with those rules and we had to have a tournament like this to make those rules come to light. So.
Yeah, no, it was, listen, it was our first one we had. And, kind of to go back to the group, the Die is Life. So we go ahead and send them our video and kind of try to get their take on it. And listen, the guy scoffs at the video. I mean, okay, I forgot what his name is. God, I can't remember his name.
I think his name's Tanner. Let me see. I think
Tanner, you're officially in the crosshairs. You're officially in the crosshairs, and that's the last place you want to be, buddy. I promise you. So listen, we're going to go after Die is Life. We're going to take him down. I mean, the sport's going to be ours, essentially, which is fine. We're okay with that. We planned on that, right? We planned on that. So Tanner, okay, get ready. Die is Life is getting ready to get burned to the ground. But overall, man, it was a fantastic weekend. Great video, and all the support from everyone who's watched it and given us feedback so far. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, so look forward in the near future for an announcement for a potential tournament based on, response. There might be another tournament. So all the teams that didn't have the chance to maybe make it to the semis or make it further in the tournament than you did, my team included, Molson made. Since we didn't make it further in the tournament, I think I'm due for a little redemption action. And I think in the meantime, we might get the beeper out there on the hardwood and maybe run. I don't know. I mean, am I speaking for you too much there, or is that something you would be entertained?
No, I mean, look, I wouldn't mind getting out there. I after seeing a whole tournament and seeing how the games played and things like that. Yeah, me and Sammy Shabaya, we talked about forming a referee team, and we know the rules, like the back of our hand now. So, we were talking about forming a team ref. And seeing what happens in the next tournament.
Good stuff. We're excited for it. Follow the social media accounts, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, for all happenings regarding the International Federation of Beer Die. Really excited what we're doing over there. Let's move on. Let's talk about NBA playoffs. So the NBA playoffs are around the corner. There's certain teams that we're looking for. Before we get too much into that, though, what's the word on LeBron? Tell him.
Listen, and it's funny you say that because today I'm watching SportsCenter. It was either today or yesterday, and they're talking about Anthony Davis is coming back from a calf strain and from leg tendonitis. Okay, all this shit, or excuse me, kid show, all this stuff. Okay, then they're talking about LeBron James and this high ankle sprain and this and that. Now, again, I get high ankle sprains are bad. They're no good. Okay. But they're not, you're out for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 weeks bad. Now, if LeBron would just come out and say, you know what? It was an ankle sprain. I'm doing good. I want to rest for the playoffs. Then that's fine. But feeding me this nonsense that this ankle sprain is keeping him out this long, I'm not buying it. I'm selling it. I'm selling all of it. I don't buy any of it. So they said Anthony Davis is actually day to day. He could come back any given day. They say LeBron is still weeks away, which happens to be the end of the regular season. So I don't know when he's coming back. I don't know if the guy's ever going to come back. He might be on a beach somewhere, sipping a little pina colada or whatever he likes to sip on. I really don't know. But what I do know is this, is if you'll talk about playoffs and, the question, was going to be asked, who we like, and who's a favorite. If LeBron James is healthy and Anthony Davis is healthy, Bink, it's hard to go against the Lakers, isn't it?
Yeah, a little bit. I think another team you got to bring up is obviously the Brooklyn Nets. They're a threat. The Suns, I really like the Suns. Devin Booker is really leading that team. I really like the Suns and the Nets, honestly. So the Suns are going to be, I think, the biggest competitor. Them and probably Denver going to be the biggest competitor, and Utah too. The West is pretty stacked.
The West is loaded. The West is loaded.
Lakers have it cut out for them, especially if AD back either or no.
So he's day to day again. A calf strain. What does that even mean? I mean, listen, I strain my calf every time I walk from my desk to the printer, for goodness sake. You don't see it keep me out for weeks on end. I mean, come on, a calf strain.
I think that's a fake injury.
I mean, what does that even? What did he pull a calf? Did he tear a calf? I mean, we need to have a Gym Pros team doctor, okay, that we use so we can make sense of some of these injuries that are diagnosed. Because a calf strain. The hell does that even mean? But anyways, I don't know if he's going to come back. But you're right. The West is stacked. West is absolutely loaded. And to me, I think if they're both healthy, it's going to be very hard to beat LeBron and Anthony Davis. But you're right. Devin Booker, Chris Paul, and what the Suns got going on is special. I just think the Suns lack a little bit of defensive intensity. And obviously that, believe it or not, that's what gets you through the NBA playoffs because you see the defense ramped up. But you're right, man. Don't count out Denver either. Don't count out Denver because, they're playing some high caliber basketball. I think the West is going to be interesting. I think the East is a little bit of a different story, though.
Yeah, it is. I mean, you got Atlanta, you got the Knicks, which are are they still on a winning streak, or did that get broken?
They won last night. I don't know if they won today.
I think they're still on it then. It might be 7-8 games that they're on the streak. You got them, you got Philly, obviously Brooklyn. Indiana might get thrown in the mix at some point. They're going to be a contender for sure. So listen, there's a lot of teams that are capable of doing that. So look forward to a lot more NBA insight. We might have to have our NBA affiliate, Chris Platty, back on the stream.
Absolutely.
And have some conversations with him because I know he's thinking about some stuff, especially NBA wise. He's super busy with his podcast and he's working with Imperial Media down there in D-Town. So he's been very busy, but I'm sure he could find some time to hop on a stream with us and really give us some insight. Because listen, we have to know we're jacks of all trades here. We know a little bit about a lot. So that's something that we take pride in, but at sometimes, when we're diving into certain, we know a lot about certain things too, but there's some avenues that we might not be super inclined in. And there's certain fields that we, may lack in certain expertise levels in. So it's not to our fault. We got to do it all over here. So we're going to bring in the analysts. We have Sobel for golf. We got Platty for basketball, NBA. And listen.
Well, here's one thing that I do want to say really quick about the East. And you said Brooklyn, okay? And Brooklyn's a lot like LA right now. James Harden's hurt, and apparently his hamstring, he re-aggravated it and is a little further back in the getting back to court ready. So he's out. Kyrie Irving decides that he just wants to up and leave and go see his family whenever he wants. The man's had more family issues than cheaper by the dozen. Okay, that he's out all the time dealing with family issues. I couldn't imagine what's going on that much with your family. And then Kevin Durant's hurt right now. So really, right now it's the Kyrie Irving show. They did play really well last night against the Pelicans. Kyrie kind of really took that game over late and sealed it for him. So if again, Brooklyn on paper looks like they should come out of the East and potentially win the whole gosh darn thing. but we both know you can't always go what's on paper because, listen, Harden's hurt, KD's hurt, and Kyrie is missing games left and right for family issues. So the East is interesting too because, after that you have the 76ers, who are playing, some of their best basketball. Joel Embiid is an MVP candidate. And so it's going to be really interesting. To me, my early predictions, I picked Brooklyn and I picked the Lakers, and I think that's what I'm gonna stick with.
Okay, that sounds good. There's other teams that are in the East that are mid-tier teams too, like I mentioned, Indiana, and you also got Charlotte and New Orleans, like you just mentioned. So teams are mid-tier. There's obviously a lot of opportunity. The more people and teams and players have going on off the court, is definitely going to impact those brackets and those games where they really matter, those series. So we're looking forward to that. We're going to be doing our homework extensively here over at Gym Pros, talking about NBA and looking into different statistics. We bet at NBA almost every day. If you follow the Gym Picks, there's NBA games on there all day long. Today was a big soccer day for me. I'm not going to get into that right now. Maybe for another time, I might make a video separately about that. But really excited for the playoffs, NBA playoffs.
Absolutely we are.
A lot that can happen. Off court, there's a lot of factors, especially that are affecting Kyrie. Injuries are also plaguing major teams, like you said, James Harden, KD. Then you got LeBron and AD. So I think that they have time. I don't know if they're saving it for a certain point in time where they're fine, but they could play, but they're saving it maybe because their record's fine to have them make it into the playoffs. They might want to just see how it plays out and make sure they're as healthy as they can be coming into the summer here.
Absolutely.
So I guess who's your MVP pick?
Listen, so
give me your top three.
Let me. Okay, I have a little bit of a problem with the MVP, and my issue is it stands for most valuable player. Okay, so when I think of MVP, I think of somebody. If you removed this person from the team, they wouldn't even make the playoffs. Like they wouldn't even be close. I mean, they would be one of the worst teams in the league if you removed this certain player. It's the most valuable player, okay? The guy that they need on that team, okay? So the number one guy that jumps out at me, again, so like take the Lakers, for example. If you take LeBron James off of that team, they still have Anthony Davis. They still have some pieces around that where they're still a playoff team. They're still a playoff team in the West. Okay. So Giannis, okay, you take Giannis off of that team. They're still a playoff team in the East. They're still now. Are they a 1-2 seed? Probably not. But they they're still making the playoffs. You take Embiid off of the 76ers. Are they still a playoff team? Yes, they are. Okay. So to me, there's really three guys that really jump out at me that are deserving of the MVP. Where if you remove these guys, or they're hurt, or they're out for an extensive amount of time, you will see that team's production drop significantly. Number one being Steph Curry. I mean, the guy's playing absolutely out of his mind at the age of 33. He's averaging over 30 points a game, 6 assists. When you can tell when Curry's not in the lineup because that team is flat out not the same. You take Curry off of that team, and now they're not fighting for that 9-8 play-in game. They're bottom of the West, and it's not even really close. Okay, so to me, Steph Curry. Now everyone's gonna say, "Well, he's only had a good April." No, he hasn't. He's had a good He's been good all year, and when he was hurt and he was out, they were very, very, very bad. The second guy that I think, again, if you removed him off of his team, they would not be a playoff team, and he is vital. Is Luka Doncic. The kid is playing for how young he is. I don't even think he's 21 years old yet. So for how young he is and what he's doing for the Mavericks, he's absolutely willing them to be a playoff basketball team. I think right now they sit 7th in the West. So a lot of production out of him, almost averaging 30 points a game, almost double digits in assists. If you remove that kid off of them, they're struggling to make the playoffs. And the third guy, a guy who's going to get no love, and it's a little frustrating because it should boil down to, again, what you do for your team night in, night out, is Jokic out of Denver. The guy's absolutely Mr. Fundamental. And he's not going to win the award. He's not even going to come close to winning the award because he's Mr. Fundamental. There's no real highlights out of him. There's no real big splash plays. It's just flat out good basketball for all 82 games. And you never see the guy hurt. You never see him miss games. You never see him sit out. You never see him take rest games. And that's what I love about the guy. He's there for his team night in and night out. So those are my top 3 guys who deserve, in my opinion, to win the MVP. And it gets so diluted, John. It gets so diluted, and it's a popularity contest when that's not what it should be. Every single year, it should be who is most important to their team. And if it happens to be LeBron James every year, then it's LeBron James. If it happens to be Steph Curry, then it's Steph Curry. But this popularity aspect of it has to be taken out, and you have to look at who is most important to their team.
Very well said. Very intricate response there. So I'm looking at a couple guys here. You mentioned Nikola Jokic, averaging 27 points a game, 11 rebounds per game, 8.6 assists. Listen, he's definitely in the contention, but I think you nailed it. He's very fundamental. I think it would be a wild card pick to put him in the conversation for the MVP award. I don't think he's out of it. I think he's definitely a contender. It'll keep people on the edge of their seats for sure about it. The other guy is Kawhi Leonard. Obviously, he's been, huge for the Clippers. Really carried the team, 26.5 points per game, 5.9 rebounds per game, 5.1 assists per game. So, listen, he's got what it takes. He's carrying on his legacy that he had over in Toronto to LA. So he's doing what he can. They're going to make a run, too. They're going to give the Lakers and everybody else in the West a lot of hell as the season goes on. And another one that's kind of a, dark horse, I guess. Very humble individual from the Utah Jazz, Donovan Mitchell. So he carries that team to a certain extent, and he carries the reins in Utah.
Absolutely.
He brought Utah to, one of its best seasons in the last couple of years than that we haven't seen since Karl Malone and John Stockton. So
the mailman.
Yeah. So listen, anybody's in the conversation here. There's a great article on NBA.com about it, about who's in the conversation, who people are looking to see get it. And there's also some honorable mentions. Amongst those are Giannis, Steph Curry, Damian Lillard, Luka Doncic, Paul George, Jason Tatum, Kyrie Irving, Rudy Gobert, which I can't believe he's even on here, and then Jaylen Brown of the Celtics. So a lot of good names out there. There's a lot of considerations that the board is going to have to make going into these next couple weeks and months, making these decisions. So it's going to be exciting. I think it's going to be I just want to make sure that, like you said, it's not a popularity contest. We got to see what's done on the court.
Right.
Who's given the most praise by, analysts on ESPN or whatever. We don't want to see that. We don't really care about that. And I hope the board sees through that too, because it's easy for the commission to kind of compile all that information and get lost in the sauce as far as who builds up the most hype and who's not really getting it done on the court.
Well, and I mean, here's the thing, man. Any MVP award. Now, baseball's a little different because how much of a team sport baseball is, it's also extremely individual. So baseball's a little bit different. But when it comes to football and when it comes to basketball, man, and even hockey, who on that team is most important? Who is making that team the best? And I know in the NFL, a lot of it goes towards the quarterbacks, which it should. That's the most important position on the field. And in my opinion, Tom Brady should win the MVP every single year. Every single year, should just give it to Tom Brady. Just hand it to him, because he's always been the most important person on his given team. And it's not even close. The people that even want to try to argue that, it's baffling to me, because it's truly not even close. On this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team, okay, people want to say, well, he had Gronk and Antonio Brown and Leonard Fournette and this. Well, why do you think he got those? Why do you think those guys were there? It wasn't because of Bruce Arians, I can tell you that much. It's because of Tom Brady. So even in the free agency, market, he's so influential, and that plays a role in team success. And when it was in New England, Okay, he was throwing to guys like Julian Edelman and Danny Amendola, for goodness sakes. Both of those guys combined, put them together, they're 6'4". Okay, so he did the most with as little as possible. And I think that's how you have to look at the MVP landscape. And when it comes to the NBA, man, I hope a guy like Donovan Mitchell wins it. I hope a guy like Steph wins another one because he's so deserving of it. Jokic, he's almost averaging a triple-double as a center. Can you name me the last center to average a triple-double? I couldn't even tell you who it was.
Maybe Ben Wallace?
It's probably not bad. I mean, it might be. I have no idea. It's probably Shaq, to be honest with you. I have no idea. But it's so rare, and especially in today's NBA, when it's so guard-driven, to have a center who's averaging almost 30 points, 11 rebounds, and almost 10 assists. I mean, that guy should walk away with it, really. Should just walk away with it. But he's not going to because he's a gumpy-looking center. And that sucks, really. That sucks.
There was a picture that they posted of Jokic. I think it was like a couple years ago. He was just like obese, looked like he played World of Warcraft every day for 6 hours a day. And then, he stretches out a little bit, turns into an athlete, and next thing you know, he's playing in the league. So talk about a glow up.
Right. The story. Right. He's hit it, baby.
He's done it all. So it'll be interesting going down the stretch to see who gets considered and who's in the running for the MVP this year in the NBA. A lot of contenders, a lot of candidates out there that are more than deserving of the award. So we'll leave it at that. We'll see what the committee decides. Moving on a little bit, we have a special announcement. Late Corona Challenge, almost like Late Corona Challenge registration is now open. So anybody that missed their chance to get involved in the Corona Challenge, your opportunity has reemerged. So if you want to play in the Corona Challenge, there's a few spots left. We want to open that up to people that may have, slept on it, procrastinated, got a little lazy. Listen, we're not here to talk about your downfalls and your insurance companies.
Yeah, we're not here to judge you.
We're here to give you another opportunity. So listen, we have some spots left. So listen, this is a special opportunity. It's definitely not going to last as long as the first opportunity did. That's why I'm kind of kicking people in the nuts. This is almost a little ass chewing session too. So if you guys didn't sign up before the deadline, I'm going to chew your ass out for a sec. But at the same time, I want you to still be a part of the Corona Challenge. So do what you got to do. Find a partner and get involved. If you don't have a partner, let Tony or I know, and we can find you a partner real easy. We have a large list of free agents that are willing and more than willing to play in the Corona Challenge. They just need a partner. And making those matchups can be a little bit difficult, but it's not impossible by any means. So we're definitely, looking forward to that. Hit me up if you need the form. It's on the website, but I can get that form to you personally if need be. Any other updates, Tone, that you got for the people?
No, man. It seems like we're I wouldn't say we're in limbo because we're really not limbo, but it's kind of again sigh of relief after the beer die. Gin and Tonic was up on Tuesday on Alex Smith. Binkers is dropping one tomorrow. Guys, just stay tuned to all of our socials. We're on there constantly. That's kind of what I got for the updates.
Yep. Stay tuned for the Gin and Tonics. Stay glued to all of our social media posts on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We're looking to get more into TikTok too. I don't know what we got to do that, but we have a TikTok. I know that's big with the youth nowadays. We got to do what we got to do to get some outreach there. Then we'll do whatever we got to do. Tone, I think TikTok is right in your wheelhouse.
Yeah, that's what people are telling me. I've even had people, I had people on Saturday tell me that, I should do TikTok. But here's the thing, man. I can't dance, Binkers. I cannot dance. And I see some of these young kids, if I pop locked and dropped it like they did, I'd end up on a gurney on my way to the hospital, for goodness sakes. I can't move like that anymore. But we will have to figure out a way for not just myself, but the whole Gin family to get involved on TikTok, and I'm sure we'll figure it out.
I'm sure we will too. So always stay tuned. This is something else too for everybody that's watching right now. Stay tuned for all kinds of surprises that will be coming your way here in the next couple months, next couple weeks. There's going to be a lot of surprises coming your way. They might not get announced right away, but they're in the works and they will be announced soon. So I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm not going to give anything away or spill the beans on anything right now. But yeah, other than that, stay tuned to all of the social media. I can't stress that enough. Gin picks come out every single day during the week. If we do a gin pick for like the weekend, that call will be made on a Friday. Haven't checked my gin picks for today, but I'm sitting at 152, a little comfortable at 152, but I can drop down to the mid 140s real easy.
Well, especially with 16 games out today. When I saw the 16,
what I got?
When I saw the 16 game slate, I said, "Holy shit! He's either going to be, sitting in the 1/8s, or he could be sitting in the 1/3s. Depending on how those games go."
I'm hunting that 2, man. I'm hunting that 2.0. It's gonna be hard to get, but I mean, I got to double my wins, and the wins column has to double what the losses column is. So I'm a little ways away from that. So I got to do what I can to bet the games that I can, go big or go home, bet the house, and
absolutely
and win the farm. So really exciting stuff, guys. Gin and tonic coming for me tomorrow, but I'll leave it at that. Stay fresh. Do what you got to do. Tony, any closing statements?
Remember, guys, always, 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 moderation will always and forever be for cowards. Life is way too short to bet the under. Bet the over. Who do you guys like for the Zurich? Oh, that threw me right. I was getting ready to give my closing, remarks, and we got
John threw that curveball right at me.
Uncle John just threw me a change.
Like, oh, I better get this comment in.
I was sitting on fastball, and he threw me a changeup.
He probably forgot to hit enter.
Yeah, the Zurich. That's that golf tournament this weekend, isn't it?
Yeah, the Zurich.
I can tell you one thing. I don't like Bryson DeChambeau. I don't know if Bryson's in. I don't like him in it. I don't even know who's playing in that.
Well, I got the players list right here. And I guess I can share my. I'm not going to share my screen. I'm on the MacBook, so I'll read off some names. Jon Rahm is. So look, this looks like this is a. Is this a team event? What's going on here?
Is it match play?
Because it looks like there's one player against another player. And let's see if. Let me just look at the. I gotta look at the format of this real quick, and maybe someone that's watching this live can give us a insight on whether or not this is a match play, stroke play event. What's going on here?
He said it's a team event. Uncle John says it's a team event.
It's a team event, so that makes sense why two names are listed alongside each other. So I'll just read off some of the teams on the top. We got Jon Rahm and Ryan Palmer, Collin Morikawa and Matthew Wolff, Danny Willett and Tyrell Hatton, Xander Schauffele and Patrick Cantlay. That's a lethal team.
I like that team.
Justin Rose, Henrik Stenson, Louis Oosthuizen and Charles Schwartzel, Billy Horschel and Sam Burns, Tony Finau and Cameron Champ. That could be a good team. Bubba Watson and Scotty Scheffler, Cameron Smith, Mark Leishman, Kevin Kisner, Scott Brown, Keegan Bradley, Brandon Steele, Brandt Snedeker, Keith Mitchell, Max Homa, Taylor Gooch, Brendan Grace, Harold Varner III, J.B. Holmes, Robert Garrigus, Sung J M, Byung Hoon An.
Hell yeah, brother.
Jason Korkak, Pac Perez. I mean, I can go on and on here. I think I've read off all the major.
Listen. I'll tell you right now, pack it, seal it, put a kiss on it, put it in the mailbox for the mailman. Give me Schauffele and Cantlay right now.
Okay, I'm taking. All right, this is what I got. Justin Rose and Henrik Stenson. I think Justin Rose is out for blood since the Masters. Kind of choked on a golf ball throughout the Masters. For pretty much after the first day, he was choking on golf balls left and right. So a lot of balls in his mouth. Wasn't a good scene. Wasn't a good scene.
None of it looked good.
So Sunday, Uncle John says it's alternate shot. So that throws a little twist into everything. That'll make things interesting. And it looks like Schauffele and Cantlay is his pick.
Love it.
So
John, this is the only pick we've ever agreed on. I don't know if
you guys are butting heads every time. You guys are butting heads.
I don't know if that's good news or bad news, to be honest.
I mean, it's got to be good news, right? Let's hope so. I got Rose and Stenson, so we'll see what happens. Jon Rahm, Ryan Palmer. I mean, they're right there at the top. They got to be at the top for a reason. And you got Collin Morikawa and Matthew Wolff too, contenders. A lot of teams on here that can be contenders coming in tomorrow. I think they're going to be starting tomorrow, so I'll be watching that. Be glued to the TV tomorrow, watching this event. Really excited for it. But yeah, let's look forward to that. We'll be doing a show on that probably on Sunday.
Right.
look forward to that on the live stream, and then there'll be some other things that we'll talk about, other talking points that we'll address too. But Tony, want to redo your closing statement? I'll let
Well,
you.
let me ask this, Uncle John. Any last comments before I get fired up and get into it? Give him a little bit. But no, guys, remember always. That was on purpose because that was a late comment. That comment
he said it a second ago. I just didn't show it on the screen right away.
So life is way too short to bet the under. Always bet the over. Moderation will and forever always be for cowards. Always, always, always bet with your head, not your heart. And remember, guys, bet with gin.
You heard it here first, folks. Always bet with your head. Never bet with your heart. Always bet the over. And always bet with gin. I mean, it's like the Trinity.
Simple as that. It's really simple.
Remember that. Write it down on your wall. Put it on your ceiling above your bed, so you're looking at it when you wake up before you go to bed. Really important stuff. But yeah, I'll leave it at that, guys. Stay tuned. Like I said, to all of our social media posts, please like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel and all of our videos on there. And we'll be in touch very soon. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll be in touch. We'll be in touch on Sunday, and I'll see you guys for my gin and tonic tomorrow. So everybody have a great night. Thanks for tuning in.